I hereby sentence Mr. Kohberger as follows. On count 1, burglary, 10 years fixed, 0 years indeterminate. I also impose a fine of $50,000. Count 2, first-degree murder of Madison Mogan. I sentence the defendant to the fixed term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a fine of $50,000, and a civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the family of the victim.
He pleaded guilty, returned no answers. Tonight, Bryan Kohberger is sentenced to life in prison, but questions remain about why he brutally killed 4 University of Idaho students. This is the end of one chapter, but the mystery isn't over. In Boise, Idaho, Bryan Christopher Kohberger, a former criminology PhD student, was sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences without parole, plus 10 years, for the horrifying November 2022 murders of University of Idaho students. The plea deal avoided the death penalty, but left victims' families and the public with unanswered questions about his motive. Let's unpack everything that brought us here. On the early morning of November 13th, 2022, for students, Kaylee Goncalves, 21, Madison Mogan, 21, Xana 20, and Ethan Chapin, 20, were brutally stabbed to death in their off-campus house in Moscow, Idaho. 2 roommates survived and alerted authorities. The house was ransacked, beds soaked in blood, and the weapon remained missing. Investigators spent weeks unraveling DNA on the sheath of a K-bar knife, surveillance of a white sedan linked to Kohberger, and cell tower data placing him in Moscow that night. In December 2022, Kohberger was arrested in Pennsylvania after FBI and Moscow PD surveillance. He was formally charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary. Prosecutors officially sought the death penalty. The case captivated the nation. Kohberger's pre-trial motions, challenging DNA evidence, death penalty eligibility, were consistently rejected. Motive remained murky. On July 2nd, 2025, Kohberger pled guilty to all charges in exchange for avoiding the death penalty. The agreement included no appeals. The plea split victims' families. Some found solace in swift justice. Others, like the Goncalves family, called it a betrayal, citing inadequate consultation and demanding deeper accountability. Yesterday, on July 23rd, Judge Stephen Hippler delivered the sentence. 4 life terms without parole, plus a decade on the burglary charge and a $270,000 fine. The judge noted the motive may never be known and said, by continuing to focus on why, we give him power. Victims' families shared gut-wrenching statements. Dylan Mortensen, a surviving roommate, called Kohberger a hollow vessel, devoid of empathy. He's something less than human, she said, assaulted by grief and trauma. These surviving students spoke of deep wounds that will never fully heal. Olivia Goncalves, sister of victim Kaylee, confronted him directly. You didn't win, you just exposed yourself as the coward you are. But in a rare turn, Xana Kernadle's Aunt Kim extended forgiveness, offering reconciliation if Kohberger would finally speak. Anytime you want to talk, I'm here, she said. Prosecutors relied on airtight evidence. DNA found on a knife sheath, cell tower data placing Kohberger at the scene, and surveillance of his car speeding away. Crucially, his own DNA, matched from an Amazon-purchased sheath for a K-bar knife, undid his defense. Despite this, the actual murder weapon was never found. Investigators continue to search the woods and landfill, but that sheath was the smoking gun. Throughout the trial, a question loomed. Why? Kohberger never spoke about motive, declined even to say, I'm sorry. Experts and families suggest he stalked victims, with repeated mobile pings near the home. But without a confession, the motive might remain locked inside him. Survivors believe silence is part of his manipulation. Investigators plan to release sealed reports and court documents, potentially giving closure or raising more questions. Since the murders, the University of Idaho has created the Vandal Healing Garden, awarded posthumous degrees, and torn down the crime scene home. A documentary series, One Night in Idaho, has launched letting victims' families tell their stories. While resisting turning Kohberger into a household name, the community continues to grapple with trauma. For the families, justice isn't just confinement. It's knowing the truth and preserving their loved ones' memories. This case has become emblematic of modern horrors. A stranger stabbing college students in their sleep, then disappearing without a trace. Investigative sleuths flooded the internet. Armchair detectives trawled public records. Everyone wanted answers. With Kohberger's silence and no motive, thousands of internet theories remain unanswered. Conspiracy, mental illness, random violence, all now frozen without resolution. Bryan Kohberger will spend the rest of his life behind bars, 4 times over. Justice, yes, but peace? Not yet, because we still don't know why. Families are left with love, fury, and a yawning void where answers should be. This case forces a hard question. How do you mourn someone taken without reason? How do you mourn when the killer won't say why? Tonight, justice was served, but healing is another battle, and it has only begun. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments. Do you think we'll ever learn why he did it? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned as new records are released.